for being here to all of you. It's a pleasure to present today a very special webinar, Mentoring Models and Programs. And with our speakers, Lina Wong. She is a BPW Hong Kong Program Chair 2020-2021. She is the Mentorship Chair 2019. And she is the founder of a newly set up NGO in Hong Kong, Mom Trepreneur is the name, yeah? Lina? Very interesting. Thank you, Lina. Cindy Long, she's a BPW Hong Kong President 2017-2019. Of course, she's the immediate past President and Advisor 2019-21. She is a Community Affairs Manager for a multinational investment bank. Chantal, she is Chantal Fraser. She is a BPW Trenton and District in Ontario, Canada. She's a past President, 2018 to present, and Lieutenant Colonel, retired Canadian Army Force, founder, Empower Path Incorporation. Too many difficult words for me today, very early. Sorry for my English this day. Thank you very much. Thank you all of you for being here. Thank you for our great speakers. And I think that we will start with Lina. Yes, and Lina?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yasmin, for your kind introduction. Thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I have to apologize. I'm actually in a public place right now, so hopefully everyone can hear me well, but do let me know if you cannot hear me. So if I may just share my PowerPoint so everyone can look at the screen while I talk. Can everyone see the PowerPoint now? Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation from Dr. Ann. It's my great pleasure to share the mentorship program that PPW Hong Kong rolled out in 2019. As you can see from the name, it's actually quite a unique setup where we had the program called 111 Mentorship Program. The reason why we are calling it 111 is because we are having 3 different people to be involved in the mentorship program. And here are some of the objectives when we set up the program. We would like to, of course, enhance the development of PPW Hong Kong members with a seasoned mentor, seasoned professional mentor, and at the same time with a university undergrad as the mentee. So this is how the 111 work. So we have the mentor, or the seasoned professional as mentor, and we have the member as the facilitator in the middle, and we have a university undergrad as the mentee. And we also have assigned a homework for each team to achieve. We would like them to generate a social innovation idea and an action plan for the betterment of Hong Kong. And we also want to strengthen the theme of 2019 International Women's Day theme, Balance for Better. And of course, we would also like to take this opportunity to liaise with other organizations and associations in Hong Kong to raise more awareness on women empowerment and gender equality. And we have recruited 10 seasoned professionals as mentor, 10 PPW members as big sisters, the facilitators in the middle, and we also have recruited 10 university students from different faculties as mentee. So this is the total number of participants in our program were 30. And the reason why we like to set up as, as a 1-1-1, or what makes it so special, is because we want to have a seasoned mentor to bring in the experience to our member as well as the mentee. And you can see, as a seasoned professional with 20 plus or 10, 20 plus year of experience, they actually have a big gap with the university students. That's why we want to have our members in the middle to be the facilitator, or to serve as a bridge in between the mentor and the mentee, and be able to work together. And also, if I guess with all of you have experience with any sort of mentorship program, sometimes the chemistry just doesn't click. A mentor and a mentee, they might not have the conversations to keep, or they don't have a common interest, or they just cannot continue a dialogue. So it would be better if there are 3 people involved, so that there will be a better flow of conversations as well. And because we also assign a task for them to come up with a project idea to address a social issue. So we are hoping that there will be a topic for the 3 of them to work together and talk well together. And the content of the program is actually started in July or June last year, and we finished in October. So it's only 4 months, but we're hoping that in this 4 months, they will be able to work together and build, further their friendship or their relationship going forward. At the beginning, we had host opening ceremony, and we also had, during the ceremony, we also did the SDG 2030 game, which is a simulation game for them to get to know each other better. And then the second program that we did is actually a panel that we have invited to talk about balance for better as a topic. And then the third program is very focused on training material to train their hard skills on everything they need to know about social innovation, including project management, or how do they find a good project idea. And then in between the 4 months, we also had arranged, the program was actually largely in charge by me and Cindy last year. And so the 2 of us had actually taken part in the meetings that were conducted by the mentorship groups. And of course, with the technology nowadays, there have been a lot of online conversations on WhatsApp or on email to keep the mentorship group to be engaged. And at the end, we also have a closing ceremony in October. And in addition to a pitching that each team had to do. So just to share with you the impact that we had brought upon in this program last year. So as I have shared, we have 10 teams, 30 participants in total. I have to be honest with you, not every team has completed well. And in fact, some mentees, a couple of mentees were quite disappointing. But we had about 70% completion rate. And because we have the pitching at the end of the program, we had 1 champion and a very outstanding first runner-up with really feasible social idea. So this page you see here, Meals to Heal, is actually the champion project. It's a project that she would like to roll out, addressing on SDG goal number 3 on well-being and health, because she wants to focus on helping senior citizens in Hong Kong to be more mindful about the nutrition and the food that they are having. So this was her project, and I believe and we also have rewarded her with a prize to attend one of the biggest social impact conference in Hong Kong. And so we believe she will be able to have this project to be rolled out in Hong Kong this or next year. And then of course, we also see that with the mentorship program, we have put together or matched together some lifelong friendship between the mentor and our member and the mentee. And so with we rolled out this program last year for the first time. So this year in 2020, we would like to continue having this. And although I'm not in charge of this, and I know Vanessa, who's in charge this year from Hong Kong, she had put together a roadmap. So I can share with you here that there is a little bit of delay right now given the situation, but there will be, pairing through the drink events and and also, all the mentoring sessions to have the mentorship going with, our experience from last year. So that's all for my sharing. And I think I'm happy to take questions at the end when everyone is done. Thank you.
Thanks, Lena. Cindy, do we have you here? Ah, yes. Okay. Cindy, you're on. Cindy, we don't hear you. I think you need to unmute.
Oh, hold on. I've got two devices here.
You'll need to mute the other one that you're screen sharing through. To stop the reverb.
There you go. I think that is better. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you. I'm hearing myself anyways. Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy from PBW Hong Kong. I am the immediate past president of the club and now the advisor of PBW Hong Kong. Yeah, same as Anne. Thank you, Anne, for your invitation. So I have a chance to share with you reverse mentorship and split mentorship here. Can you see my screen as well? Okay, cool. Okay, so today is to first of all share with you the reverse mentorship. So maybe you have already done reverse mentorship before, but I just want to just put on a few objectives here. So for reverse mentorship, we would like to create shared value among different generations of colleagues or with sisters. We want to flip the hierarchy and mobilize non-traditional teams. For example, to increase for company, it may want to increase millennial retention, foster inclusivity, and maintain competitive advantage through technological advancement. Because as you can see from the name of it, is basically having a reverse of what we usually do. Usually we have a more senior member mentoring a junior member, but here what we want to do is having a junior member mentoring a senior member. And hence we can expect that the junior member may have a better understanding in terms of technology, in terms of closer to the current trends. So we think that having reverse mentorship will be a good advantage to flip the hierarchy and also mobilize the non-traditional team. Okay, just realized that it's not in center. Also, in that sense, we can also improve diversity and inclusion, which is very important for innovation. As you can see, we just want to let people know that there's something that the junior can teach senior as well, not only the other way around. So age should not be the definition of knowledge transfer. So in order to set up a reverse mentorship, it's not only about having a young person to teach the senior member, but then we want to have mutual resource that both of them can benefit from that relationship. So for us, PBW Hong Kong, we have done several reverse mentorship previously under Anne's leadership, and we make it have an opportunity for communicative exchange between generations beyond normal business situation. That is, instead of having people to like just sit together and brainstorm something, or like just to have knowledge transfer, maybe they are using other non-traditional ways to make it happen. And in that sense, we also create opportunities for mutual study and share of experiences on different topics as well. So in that occasion, they can also ask questions about other generations, so that to get to know better about like how other generations think, or how they work, or the working style. So this is a very good quote from Alan Weber, co-founder of Fast Company on reverse mentorship. It's a situation where the old fogies in an organization realize that by the time you are in your 50s and 40s, you're in touch with the future the same way the young 20-somethings. They come from a fresh pair of eyes, open minds, instant link to the technology of the future. I can give you a very instant example, or like time example, I would say. Under this COVID situation, we are all we are all used to function in a way that how things work traditionally. But then with the younger generation, or with some new idea, they instantly think out of the box and think of interesting, I would say interesting or technologically viable, technologically viable solutions to tackle this problem. And on the other hand, speed mentoring. So also under Anne's leadership, we have done a few speed mentoring sections previously with the PBW Hong Kong. And it involves mentees rotating between a number of mentors in the same occasion. So for example, they set up a number of tables, and the mentees rotate to different tables and ask for advice. And they may have different topics with different mentors. In that sense, the speed mentoring will be a quick catch up with sisters within the PBW network. And it's a very short but very focused conversation about specific questions. We are asked to think about like a very specific question that we have in mind, and we ask different mentors in the same occasion. So this conversation can give you fresh idea every single time when you go to a new table. And it involves one-on-one conversation between the mentors and mentees. The mentee rotates to several mentors during the section, and they may have a limited amount of time. So they have to very punchy when they talk to each of the mentors. They just have to like make sure they are on the point. So it will be a very good section to just get some advice on some specific questions. And the objective for this section is for the PBW sisters to interact with different people. They, you know, like for some of the traditional meetings, people tend to sit with the people they know and they are friends with. But then for this situation, they are forced to mingle with others and with different age groups as well. So we think that is a very good chance for the PBW sisters to mingle together. And it also acts as a pre-screen. If we are going to have a longer and deeper mentorship, the speed mentoring will be a very good chance for them to get to know each other and see whether they get along with each other. Otherwise, they can quickly rotate to other tables and get to know like if they are better pairing with someone else. So for this kind of setup, we have to, like, you may think that, it's just purely networking section, but indeed no, because for speed mentoring section, we want to make sure that people get something out of the section. So we have to be very specific. first of all, they have to really think of the specific question that they have in mind and they want to ask for advice. And also before the session, the organizer have to make sure that the place and space and the date is right for this kind of mentoring, because they have to be very focused and they kind of have to make sure the space is good enough for this specific setup. If we want to tailor-make it and make it even better, we can use a survey in advance to help to tailor the matches. We may not have to tailor the matches for every single pair, but then maybe for the first few pair, we may want to tailor-make it and make sure that the mentees can really get advice from the people that they want to. And we have to plan for the rotations and transitions in advance, which makes it very important because the time for each mentorship section is so short. So we want to make it very smooth, so that they know, like after this session, after this mentoring, where to go, and then they just hop on the spot and they get to know where they are going, to make sure the transition is as minimal as possible. So we also want to make sure the rotational signal at the right place, the right time. Because time is very tight, usually we only give 10 or 15 minutes to each of the mentorship pair. So we have to make sure that they are all signaled at the right place and time. As mentioned, we want to make sure that there's a list of questions to help the mentees to kickstart the conversation specifically with the advice that they are seeking for. And also post-event communication would be important so that people get to know what they have learned from that specific mentorship. Because it's so quick, so the feedback is important. Otherwise, they would quickly forget what have they learned throughout the section. All in all, I just want to summarize how to make a successful mentorship, no matter we are talking about reverse mentorship or speed mentoring. We have to be very honest with our goals, what we are looking for, and what kind of advice that would be useful. So we have to be honest to yourself in order to set your goal, and also learn, unlearn, and relearn. I think that's important. You listen to what people say and think about whether it is something that you are looking for or would be under your consideration, and you relearn it. Capture feedback, so this is very important as always, and make sure your mentees learn new things too. So we want to make sure this is a mutual process. It's not one way. No matter your mentee or mentor, we want you to learn something out of this relationship. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Chantal, thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm just going to get it back to the right place. Okay. My PowerPoint's refreshing, so I'll just take a moment. It's the joy of the modern technology where everything decides that it's going to help you. Okay, I'd like to say I'm honored to be joining Lena and Cindy on this world stage. Thank you very much. I'm also grateful to live, learn, work, play on traditional Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee territory in this country we call Canada. I've had the privilege of being mentored since I was a teenager by my parents and their friends, and then various professional mentors as I carried on in my career. And for about 21 years now, I've been mentoring people through formal programs. In 2012, my other professional association tried to set up a mentoring program. We weren't as successful as the BPW Hong Kong folks. Our challenge was finding the mentors in our small chapter of 150 people, we didn't have enough mentors to meet the needs of all of our members. So in 2014, our professional association partnered with a Canadian company called MentorCity.com. Yeah, that's their slide there. And what we ended up doing is, over time, agreeing that not just small chapters of 150 people could do mentoring, but that we could partner with bigger chapters. So now Ottawa takes care of Eastern Ontario and has about 7 chapters of ranging from 40 people to thousands of people who are all part of the same Mentor City community. What I'm going to do in the next portion and the rest of my part of this presentation is I'm going to give you a guided tour of Mentor City. I'm going to show you how you'd create a profile, find a mentor, send messages, schedule meetings, set your goals and notes, and end a mentorship relationship. So now I'm just going to flip to my other screen, end of slideshow. There, bring you back here. This is what the Mentor City homepage looks like. When I'm logged in, this is what it looks like. And you can see that when I come into the home, that's an older picture of me and how many hours of mentoring I've done within HRPA that have been saved. Creating a profile is really easy, and you can change your picture, which I really should have done. But anyway, you can put all kinds of information about yourself here on what you're interested in, and you can edit your profile or create your profile very easily. So it takes setting up a new profile takes about 20 minutes if you already know what you want to share about yourself. So you can edit and change it, and then you save, and you can go and the employment section can be tailored. So in the case of, should somebody like BPW ever decide they wanted to have use some platform like Mentor City, instead of employment section, it could be employment section, and it could also be where your BPW club or associate club is. So that can be customized as much as you want. And then you can do competencies, which talks about different things that you have. Finding a mentor is very easy. And it's the wonderful thing, the challenge that we had back in 2012 was finding mentors to match our mentees. Finding a mentor is a matter of, it allows you to select whatever you want to do. So you can select a region, you can select languages, you can select job function. This can be tailored so you can search for the mentor that you want. And then so we'll run a search just out of curiosity. We'll run a search and it'll give me names. And it's already suggested a couple of names here. So when you see somebody's name, so we've got Harpreet in Ottawa, I can actually click on Harpreet's portfolio and look and see what Harpreet knows. And I can send a personalized message here. I can change the text here to ask Harpreet if they would be willing to be my mentor, and then I could send the invitation. I'm not going to do that because I already have a couple of mentors. And the same thing, mentors can look for mentees. It's the same sort of functionality, where you can search. If there's a specific mentee type that you're looking for, you can search, and the system will recommend people as well. In relationships, on this slide, you can see that my current Human Resources Professional Association mentor is Lisa. She lives and works an hour away from me, so far all of our mentoring has been done by telephone, just because we're not in a situation where we can travel an hour away and see people. And I currently have 4 mentees within HRPA. 2 of them live in my community. 1 lives in Ottawa and 1 lives an hour away. So I'm able to mentor these people, and through 2 of the 4 found me through the platform. The other 2 I met real life. The 2 that are in my local community I met real life. So, and there's a wonderful thing here, which is a resource section, which can be tailored for any organization. So Mentor City loads a bunch of resources for mentee tips, mentor tips, mentor roles, some interviews done with the industry experts within Canada. And depending on what an organization wants, you can have this tailored as much as you want. So you can tailor it. For example, this year, in April this year, Mentor City actually hired me to deliver training on their behalf to some of their clients. And so I've learned a lot more about the program since we've done that. And I've learned that this can be completely tailored. So one of the clients that we're working with now that I'm delivering training to next week, and it'll be something similar to what Lena and Cindy shared earlier, is sharing how mentorship works and how to get those relationships. And then showing them the platform and how they can use it. But with the client that I'm delivering training to next week, they've completely tailored this screen. So they've taken off all of the generic resources and they're putting all resources that are applicable to their organization. So this can be tailored as much as you want. So it's a very handy resource. There's lots of great information. And I'm just gonna click back to our homepage for a moment to show you. This is some of the customization that's been done. So the Human Resources Professional Association that I belong to has tailored the quotes that go across the top of the screen so that they can make it more branded for our organization. So there's all this sorts of things that you can do. And now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and open it up to Dr. Ann for the next part.
Thanks to Lena and Cindy and Chantal for your presentations. We're going to, you may have seen in the chat I just posted, we're going to open it up for Q&A or discussion if you have a comment rather than a question. A couple of house rules. Again, stay on mute if you're not the speaker, just to cut down on our background noise. We also ask that you don't ask for their materials, as people sometimes do, because as we are concerned, that's their intellectual property. But this is being recorded. You can watch it 100 times if you want. You can stop, you can freeze frame, and so on. So you can look at the materials as much as you'd like. For this portion of question and answer or comments, we ask, because we're a large group, we're 28, I think, including me, in the meeting at the moment, we ask that you use the raise hand function of Zoom. And so if you click on participants, which should be at the bottom of your screen, then you will find a menu with 3 dots. And if you click on that, one of those functions should be raise hand. So if you'd like to jump in and be the first to ask a question, please do so. Please raise your hand. If you can't find it, you can do this, but we've got more than one page and I'll keep toggling back and forth, but it may be harder to see you that way. So who would like to jump in first? Well, since I don't have anyone at the moment, while you're thinking of your questions or comments, I will ask Chantal one question to get us started. Chantal, you were showing us the online network, and I wonder, I think this is the case, but I want to clarify. If BPW, say, wanted to use this as an organization, could they set up their own intra-network within this platform so that mentors and mentees were being matched specifically with other BPW members?
There's a couple of different ways that BPW can access the platform. So in the chat, I've shared the link free for everyone. If we wanted to have our own BPW dedicated platform for around the world, then there's a not-for-profit pricing schedule that Sean Mintz, the owner of the company, has shared with me previously for other projects that I've been trying to convince people. Before he hired me, I was trying to sell his product because I think it's really a fabulous platform, especially because in my experience of being able to mentor people who live 3 hours away and be mentored by people who live far away from me. So there is a not-for-profit pricing, which is much cheaper, but it's a monthly fee, similar to all platforms that provide a lot of functionality. There's a monthly fee, and the monthly fee is staggered. So if there's 150 active members that are involved in the platform, then that's the lowest price. And then it jumps up to 250 members and so on, goes on up. So offline, I can share the pricing with you for that if you're interested.
So it's possible?
Yes, it's possible.
But not for free, okay.
Not for free.
Yes, got it. Okay, who else would like to jump in? And you can also, as I just posted, you can also put your question or comment in the chat if you prefer, because some people either can't or don't want to speak directly. Maybe they can't, they're at work. So that's another option. I think we do have a question in the chat from Pramila. It says, if we want to, this is for all three of you, if we want to have some kind of program on mentorship or related, will you be available for us? If so, how can we be connected? I should actually first say, Pramila, we have an international task force on mentoring, and they would be the ones. But the question is to each of you whether you'd be willing to advise people on what you have presented today, I guess. Not to put you on the spot, but okay, we can give email contacts.
Yes.
Who else has a
Yeah,
question?
yes. I think
Dr.
I
Yasmin.
will leave my email there.
Helen raised her hand. Helen.
Okay, and then maybe Dr. Yasmin, you have a question too. Helen.
Thank you, ladies. It was really enlightening. I have a question for BPW Hong Kong. I've never seen this reverse mentorship, which I thought particularly in the times of COVID-19 that we find ourselves, and maybe many of our senior members, we in New Zealand don't have that many young members. So I can see something like this being really, really helpful in doing it from a distance. So did you find it difficult for that initial introduction, particularly with maybe the resistance of the older members not wanting to participate?
Cindy, do you want to speak to this, or shall I? You're mute.
Sorry, having two devices is not easy. All right, I think
Okay, switch devices. You're getting reverb, yeah.
Okay, is it better? Okay, perfect. Maybe Anne, you can say answer first, and then I will chip in.
Okay. That's because we set this up under my presidency, and then Cindy was the next president, and she ran with it. That's why she's punting to me at the moment. Hong Kong is a little bit unique in that we started out with a goal of 50-50 membership of at least 50% young BPW, and now it's about 85% young BPW. So if anything, we have a hard time finding older people to mentor in the reverse mentoring program. And that's why they switched to, the speed mentoring was always an event, a periodic event, but rather than a full program. But that's why we switched over also to Lena's innovative program of 1+1+1, which allowed us to pull from the community as well. So that's not reverse mentoring, but we switched over to that program. We had some pairs of reverse mentoring, mentor-mentee, and we got only favorable reports on that. It seemed to work very well. Some of it's teaching, but some of it's just helping someone along, especially if you are changing careers midlife, or if you are opening your own business, if you're an entrepreneur for the first time. It's the younger people who will really be able to advise you on the software to use and how to use social media properly for your business, and which accounting program might be better, and this kind of thing. Cindy?
Totally agree with you, and we indeed have no issues with having new ideas, because we have many young PPW members, and we don't, and I want to add one point is our club is pretty new. We charter under Anne's leadership, and it's so we are only 5 years old so far. So I think there's that given other credit to make it easy for us to make a change. And hence one of the objectives of having this one-to-one mentorship that Lynn has just mentioned is also to attract community members to come in, like the seasoned ladies in the community and also university students.
I want to just add one thing to speak directly to your question, Helen. We have this imbalance among the generations in probably most of our affiliates around the world. And I've also talked about the concept of reverse mentoring as I've traveled and met with BPW in many places, and more have actually implemented this. So I can't give you the list, but I've heard from time to time that other clubs have tried this. I would say even if you have just a handful, and if you're a federation, even across the nation, just a handful, first of all, use online methods so it doesn't matter where they are. But it's a way of beginning to change those mindsets just by having a reverse mentoring track. So we always had classic and reverse side by side from the beginning. And it's one of the ways to actually help people understand that it's kind of ageist to think mentoring is one way. As Cindy was talking about knowledge transfer being bidirectional and cross-generational. So I think it can be used strategically in that way. And the more you attract younger members, then it becomes more of a viable program, I would say.
Absolutely. So thank you very, very much. That was really helpful and certainly something I would want to implement in New Zealand. So thank you.
Great. I had asked Dr. Yasmin if you wanted to jump in next. I also have Nilima with a raised hand. So Dr. Yasmin, if you'd like, otherwise I'll defer to Nilima.
Yeah, just a question for all our speakers. Which is the topic that you receive more requests to be mentored in your area?
Anybody?
Hi, Chantal here. It depends. So in the Human Resources Professional Association, where I mentor people normally want to talk about their careers. But when I was in the military mentoring people, they didn't always want to talk about their careers, especially the young women. The young women wanted to talk about when's the right time to have a family and still have a military career. When's the right time to go on course? So they were bringing a lot of personal issues into the mentoring discussions. Not so much the young men. There was one young man I mentored who talked about that, but most of the young men were more interested in the career thing. But I find meeting women throughout my career, and since I've retired from the military, there's a lot of women who say no to opportunities because they're thinking, what if I have a child later, or what if I get married? So that was the kind of conversation I ended up having with a lot of young women when I was mentoring military women.
Lena, what about, yeah.
Yeah, because for our program, we had assigned a homework for them to focus on social innovation. So I guess by default, we had attract mentee who are more interested in this subject matter. But as a matter of fact, when I got the chance, I mean, I didn't get to join the program. I was in charge of the program, so I didn't get to be a big sister. But I got to meet all the mentee and had the chance to, talk to them and our members as well. I think for the mentee, since a lot of them were students, so they asked, when I talked to them, they asked me a lot of advice about, their career choice, whether they should continue studying. And I guess we all know Hong Kong had gone through a very difficult situation since last year. So there were more of a discussions about the political situation happening, and they have their concern about their own career choice because of that, whether they should probably continue studying given, there's so much uncertainty, or, they should start working. And as per our members, since our members definitely would have a lot of opportunity to learn from their mentor, who are very seasoned and professional, and our members are mostly, even though they are young, mostly young PBW, but they have a few years of experience. So they did ask a lot of advice about change of career or their next move when they talk to the mentor. So yeah, so that's what happened in our program last year.
Great. Okay, Nilima.
Hello, everyone. I think more than a question, I would like to answer to Pramila and also to the presenters, because I know that the term twinning is very popular in BPW, and if any club, any affiliate wants to do, the similar kind of mentorship program that Hong Kong is doing, I think they can connect directly to them and then have a twinning program in a country as well. And I would like to even ask the, presenters, Lena and Sydney, like, how, I know you are doing twinning with a lot of other countries. How is experience regarding that aspect?
So your question is about twinning? A little bit off track, but okay.
Twinning of this program to implement in other countries as well.
That's right. Cindy, I think maybe you might want to speak about twinning since you're the immediate past president. We don't have the current president here, but.
Happy to do so. Yeah, I'm happy to do so. Just want to, our twinnings quite diverse, I would say. We are twin with Wellington. We are twin with, which is a more advanced club than we do, more senior, and we learn from them on advocacy. We haven't been talking about the mentorship so far, which we hope to do more in the coming year. We are launching another program as well, which is like primary school kids women empowerment education as well, which we are looking to push that program to Taiwan, maybe one of our twinnings. But then, yes, that's a very good point. We should do it more often. We should do it more with on mentorship with our twinnings. And like, just when you ask this question, I think we can do it virtually as well. Like for example, like the one-to-one mentorship, we don't have to make all the 3 people in the same location. We can do it virtually as well. I think these are all the good things being engaged in such an international organization.
Mm. And perhaps since they're young BPW heavy, they can twin with someone to supply the mentors in a reverse mentoring program, a co-program. Okay. But don't everybody jump on. Hong Kong already has 5 to 7 clubs they're twinned with, and we were twinned with another 5 in an earlier term. So they are a little bit heavy with twinning at the moment, but that might be, and each of those twinnings has a different, each one has its own focus. But this certainly would be another good use for twinning. So thanks, Nilima. Anyone else have a question or a comment, including, do you have mentoring in your own affiliate? And if so, mentoring classic, reverse, you know, Martian, whatever it is, whatever type of program. Do you have such a program and how's it working? I wonder if anyone else can contribute to this. Okay, Helen, you're the only one whose hand is raised, so jump back in.
What we did was we developed along with BPW Australia, and just to let you know, Cindy, I was the founding president of BPW Wellington, so we will be doing reverse mentoring, if that's okay. So yes, so we have.
I want to join virtually.
Oh, great. So it's keys to achievement, and basically there are bronze, silver and gold. And the purpose of that is to get people ready for boards, women on boards. So we have them going through the whole stage. They have 12 tasks that they have to do on each level. They have to achieve 10 of those. They get a week key, which we present to them until they get right up to gold. And when they've got gold, they're actually board ready. They're ready to sit on a board, and we then start introducing them to how to apply to actually start working on boards. This was a program that we shared with one of the, I think it was Cameroon, that we shared the booklet with. So that would be something that we would be happy to share with as well with other BPW sisters. Yeah.
Great. Anu, I see a raised hand there.
Yes, hello to everyone. I am Anu from Estonia, and we have had, not this year, not last year, but the business mentoring program. And it was only included only the members of BPW Estonia. So we have a lot of businesswomen and young women who wanted to open their own business. Then we matched them ourselves. So it was very successful, about 15 peers, and still it was mentoring not only for the business, but also it worked as a mentoring for the members, because every mentor and every mentee are still very, very close in BPW Estonia. So mentoring for business is also very, very good, and especially what I would like to carry on with in Estonia, and maybe even have the training with some other club, take the business worldwide. Thank you.
Great. Okay, who else would like to jump in? Another example of mentoring, anybody? I'm looking around for any hands raised, or if not the hand raising function, if you can do this if you're on video. Sorry, I just saw one. Okay, Chantal, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to share something. I mentioned it briefly during my talk, but I didn't want to go into too much detail because I knew I had to stay in my 10 minutes. When I joined the military, I knew a little bit about the military because both my parents served in the military. But after I graduated from military college, which was effectively university, my sister got married. And when I went to her wedding, all of my parents' friends who were still serving or recently retired from the military took the opportunity to speak with me and give me speed mentoring during my sister's wedding reception. So I learned a lot of lessons from them that helped me get all the way up to Lieutenant Colonel, which is the very senior rank in the military. And arguably the military is still the most male-dominated field on the planet. So mentoring works is all I wanted to share.
Great. Okay, anybody else with mentoring of any type in your affiliate? Dr. Yasmin, can you tell us any more about the history of mentoring in BPW? Or just any examples of that?
Well, I think that without the title mentoring as a committee or task force, we used to do it when, for example, when I've been the immediate past international president, and I can see that many of our affiliates internally in federations, for example, in a country, they used to get together to share how to do the things, not only in the career or in the club, but also in personal issues. And of course, what we found always in the young people, believe it or not, I've been in the first generation of young BPWs in 1985 in New Zealand at the Congress. And it's always the same questions. I'm surprised that Chantal raised that subject. What can I do with my career and my family? Do I have to have children? So all these questions that women used to have. And yes, with or without a specific program, we used to have this kind of mentorship. Of course, the goal is that our organization have this platform well structured to help our members in this way.
Okay, thank you. I have Ozge with a hand raised, and then I'll come back to you, Helen, and then I think we'll be at the end of our time. So we want to be mindful of everyone's time. So Ozge, I'll turn to you next. You're muted.
Now, is it okay?
Good.
Okay, perfect. Hi, this is Özge from BPW Istanbul, and I'm also the president of BPW, Young BPW Turkey. And I would like to share our experience that we are collaborating with other NGO, which has been going for 3 years, and it's been a successful project, if you allow me. The thing is, we are collaborating with one of the Turkey's largest NGO, which supported especially young girls who are coming from very disadvantaged families and studying the undergraduate degrees outside their own hometowns. And they have a special mentoring project. However, they had some difficulties to find the right mentors for those girls. So we asked them to collaborate. And we are pursuing that project for 3 years. And the feedback is quite good. And some of those young girls are now our members, which also shows that, which I believe also shows that it's a very good project. So why we prefer to collaborate that beforehand, we didn't have any prior mentoring experience as a BPW Istanbul club. So we decided to have that to gain some experience before we launch our own mentoring project. It would be better to gain some experience how it works, and they also provide the necessary trainings for the mentors, which helped a lot. So I believe that would be a starting point for the clubs who would like to launch their own projects, but I don't have prior experience. So collaborating with other NGOs would also helpful for their own network.
Very good, Özge. So you were the supply chain of mentors, and then they ended up being a supply chain of young BPW members to you. Excellent.
Definitely.
Okay, I want to just, before I come to you again, Helen, as our final speaker, I want to just mention that in Hong Kong, we also set up, especially in the first couple of years, a classic mentoring track alongside of reverse mentoring. And the one thing I want to mention there is the way that we matched mentors. So this is another way that you might want to consider in your own affiliates. We set up an online, essentially using a poll or survey program, but we set up an online poll and gave the link to all of our members for whoever was interested in being a mentor or a mentee or both, because they could have more than one arrangement. And we had specific questions asking them their interests, asking them their particular professional background. We couldn't always match profession to profession, but they knew that because we're not a one profession organization. But asking them what their main interest was in being being mentored or being a mentor, and so on, and what skills they brought to the bunch. And then we had a small short-term task force that we created for this process that sifted through all of that and then matched up mentors and mentees with the option that after a couple of sessions, they were signing a contract with each other for the term. We met it for a 1-year renewable term, but that either or both party had the option of quietly opting out of that if it just wasn't working for them, and then we'd try to rematch them. So that was a very good way to use technology. Very, very easy. They could answer the questions from their phone. And so that was a way we got people to easily register, and then we could sort through the details and our team could make the best matches possible. So Helen, I'm coming back to you because you had your hand raised one more time, and then we'll close the meeting after this.
I just want to do it really carefully, and it is slightly thinking outside the box, but we're really strong when it comes to the women's empowerment principles, which there are 7. And what we do is we work with the CEOs because it's a statement of intent that they're committed to the 7 principles, but we work with their human rights diversity counterpart in each of these companies. And what we do is we mentor them into the 7 principles of the women's empowerment principles. And if you know anything about it, it's making it a safe working environment for men and women, also procurement, making it a supply chain, also leadership paths for women. And we certainly get our young graduates to go and register and work for these companies, which we've got 52 in our country, as signatories, because they're the ones that are actually going to give women and girls a pathway to the boardroom. So it's mentoring in a way that we do it in a group session with regard to making sure that they have it. So it's a little bit different, but it's around the 7 women's empowerment principles. And our latest signatory, you might be interested in, Chanel, is the New Zealand Defence Force. So we've got the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force that have just signed up. So we're working with them to make sure that there are clear pathways for women all the way up to the top. So I just wanted to say it's not just the one-on-one, you can actually do it and apply it in different fields.
Great, thanks, Helen. So we've got group mentoring, we've got themed mentoring, we've got topical mentoring. I guess that is themed mentoring. We didn't mention, but there's also peer-to-peer mentoring. There doesn't have to be any age or experience difference. There's also peer-to-peer, and peer-to-peer can be done in a group format as well. Yasmin was mentioning that a lot of mentoring just happens organically. in our organization because we're all turning to each other for advice all the time. And that's peer-to-peer, younger to older, junior to senior, senior to junior, etc. We talked about reverse mentoring, the specialized plan of 1-1-1 or 1+1+1, as I always say inaccurately, that Lena designed for BPW Hong Kong. Speed dating mentoring, so to speak, speed mentoring, that we've also used as an event, which is very different, very short-term and focused. And of course, there's always classical mentoring, and I've probably missed several more in the mix. So for all the participants today, I will send you the chat, which has a lot of resources in it. I can send it to you in follow-up as an email, so look for that. We want to thank our speakers today. First of all, Lena, who spoke to us first, and I know has to leave imminently for another event. Thank you to Lena, the program chair of BPW Hong Kong and designer of the program that she discussed with us. Thanks to Cindy Leung, who is the immediate past president of Hong Kong and was extremely successful in that role, and now is an advisor to the current president. And thanks to Chantal Fraser, also past president in her club and who attends, I think, everything I do and am involved in online. So always good to see you, Chantal. Thanks to all of you for joining us today and actively participating. We hope you will take some of this information back to your own affiliates and launch some new ideas and new dialogue about that and see where you can go with it. And think very broadly about mentoring. We all mentor each other and learn from each other every day, don't we? So this will be recorded and online probably by tomorrow. And then you'll see the link on our Facebook page, the same as the event page that brought you here today. Or you can look for our YouTube channel, which is Leadership in BPW. If you just search like that, you will find this particular channel. We have one webinar live per month, but you will find more than 30 videos on that channel already, and we're adding more all the time for video tutorials as well as past live webinars. So thanks again to all of you, and we hope to see you here again soon. Bye for now.